You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the November 16th, 2022 meeting of the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board meeting for Wednesday, November 16th, 2022. If you can please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Shannon, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Latchford?
Here.
Mr. Freeze?
Here.
Mr. Lang?
Here.
Mr. Berlin? Here.
All right, the minutes from our previous meeting of November 2nd were prepared and presented in advance of tonight. So unless there's any corrections or additions, do we have a motion to approve?
I would move we accept the minutes as printed.
Second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, project updates, the 2022 Trail Creek Week report.
Thank you. This was included in your packet just for information. The report was prepared by the LaPorte County Soil and Water Conservation District, who is the partner who started this program. Just to note, 8 schools participated this year with just under 700 students. So that's pretty successful. When we first started the program, it was around 900, and then COVID kind of killed everything, but you can see that it's coming back. So it was a great week. I stepped out there a couple times, great weather. And again, an excellent partner program. If you have any questions, I will try to.
Thank you, Shannon. Any questions or comments?
No.
Any
It's a
questions?
neat event. Nice to see kids out there learning a little more about the environment and getting a respect for it. So it's a great program.
All right, thank you for that. Any old business to attend to?
No, sir.
Table business, we've got the Memorial Hall and Senior Center 2023 and 24 rental agreements.
Yes, these were presented at your meeting on November 2nd. Both the agreements included language that was given to us from the city attorney, our park board attorney, and also general insurance company. After looking through it and checking with other park departments in the area, our staff believes that these excessive insurance requirements are just not feasible for private renters. So just as an example, if you run a Memorial Hall on a Sunday for a 2-hour baby shower and wanted to serve mimosas, the cost of that bar locally, come in and have it catered with the insurance that was outlined in these agreements is $900. For a wedding, it was $10,000 and up, a wedding of 200 people. So in my opinion, if the board approves this type of language, we will lose, I'm guessing 98% of our rentals because they all have alcohol.
Did this premium change recently,
Take this off.
or has it? What's the?
Last year, in years prior, we've never had the requirement that people had to go out and get a catered bar. But the way the insurance requirements were put in here by the group that I mentioned earlier, it would require a catered bar because your homeowner's insurance, you can't get within here. So it's excessive. So I did check around with 5 different park departments. None of them have that requirement. Their language is well similar to our agreement, which does say if you are serving alcohol, the city's not covered for this or that. We recommend that you go out and purchase that. But it's not a requirement. So our recommendation is to remove that completely, reinstate the old insurance language, and then adopt it like that.
Have there been any problems before?
There's never been a liquor incident in the park department, to my knowledge, in the 27 years that I've been here. Not at major events, not at our facilities.
Yeah. Well, I think
So-
that's our answer.
Before we discuss this any further, Mr. Freeze reminded we have to have a vote to take it off the table. So if I can have a motion.
I would move that we take item 4 and item 11 off the table from our previous meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Freeze. So, and looking back on this issue and saying, have there been any accidents or issues, is I can understand where the insurance recommendations coming from. They're not looking back, they're looking forward, thinking, trying to protect us from a future problem, even though there hasn't been any problems in the past. But with that said, I agree with Shannon and our administration's recommendation to change the language, because it's, I do believe insurance requirements are exceedingly over more than what we need.
That's crazy. And if someone were to get their own, would they attach it to their homeowners? Is that what has been done in the past? Nothing's been required in the past,
Yeah,
right?
typically if, say I'm hosting a wedding reception at Memorial Hall, and as the host, I am serving alcohol,
Hmm.
but not a hired catered bar. Yes, I could go to my insurance agent and say, I want liquor liability coverage for my private event. And
And
that
we-
would go through your homeowner. But when you start getting into, you see what was in the contract, auto liability and workers' comp,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what a catered bar service would be. So the quotes I got were from Patrick's Grill,
Hmm.
their actual quotes. They carry all that.
Hmm. Yeah.
So for them, it's, well, it must be somewhat of a huge expense because at $900, they're passing that on
Yeah.
to the runner, but it just gives, I hate to see our residents not have the ability to
Hmm.
utilize the halls that they pay for with their
Yeah.
taxes.
Well, in the business, they have that premium, but that's for the whole year. So there's a lot to absorb that cost.
I know the city has alcohol liability coverage for the entire city.
Hmm.
This would be
Yeah.
beyond the cities.
So what is the alcohol liability coverage? Why is that not acceptable to our insurance company?
Because this would pass it on to someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. Yeah,
But it also pass the cost on,
I see. Mhm.
an excessive cost.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? I would just like to comment, Shannon, thank you for looking into the costs of what the potential cost would have been for future renters. That helps us really determine what to do here. Any questions from the public? All right, so what's the pleasure of the board? I believe the recommendation from the administration is to just revert to the old language.
Well, I would move that we consider the administration's recommendation and revert back to the language previous to the printed one for 23-24.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. All right. New business, Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign request.
Yeah, this is their annual request to put the red kettles out at the entrance to Washington Park. The night that we light holiday lights, which is Saturday, December 3rd. They would be out there with volunteers from 5 to 9 p.m. Last year, they raised $4,000. And they do have a lot of donors coming in to match dollar for dollar for that 4-hour campaign. So this is really important for them. And it doesn't cause any cost or work on the park side. I think it's a great program and would recommend approval.
Thank you, Shannon. Any questions or comments?
Just one. Last year, I see it was canceled at the last minute. Was
That was 2020 during
2020?
COVID.
Okay.
First.
No, the COVID. Yeah. Okay. No, I
Or,
don't.
I'm sorry, it was 2021.
I don't have any questions.
I had a question about the signs. Where are those displayed, or that's?
They're just yard signs
Yeah.
that they stick in at the entrance.
Yeah.
Park.
Okay.
When people are pulling in, they know that they're up and coming. They're getting their money out.
Oh, okay. But it said, I thought it was for businesses that agree to match the first $100 raised. So it's for businesses, which is fine. I was just curious if. And then are those there just for that night?
Oh, maybe they have their sponsors on their yard signs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the past, it was just like 2 yard signs. That
Oh, okay.
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 Kind of letting you know.
Right.
Pull in.
Okay. But they're just there for that night, right?
they're just there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I have a comment. Yeah, that's what they have. The Salvation Army. Anybody that's interested to be a bell ringer, you could go to the Salvation Army and a volunteer. I do it a couple of times. It's really nice. You get out there and meet the people, and the people are very, very generous. Sometimes it's uncomfortable ringing that bell like tonight. But anyhow, if you have time, and there's multiple times that you could be a bell ringer, a couple hours, it's not all day. I would suggest that, you look into it if you would like to help out.
Okay.
Thank you, Phil. Any other questions or comments? If not, do I have a motion to approve the Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign request?
I so move that we approve the Salvation Army Red Kettle project for December the 3rd, 2022, from 5 until 9 p.m. at the entrance to Washington Park.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, next is the Indiana Department of Natural Resources easement request.
Yes, I was contacted by the DNR and I met with two of their officers a few weeks ago. I provided a map in your packet, and there's a small parcel in between Trail Creek and then the north side of Krieger Memorial Park. The Indiana Steelheaders, which is a local nonprofit organization, is wanting to donate that parcel to the DNR to open it up as a public access fishing site. Currently, it's fenced in and only the steelheaders can get in there. But if they donate it, this would be truly open to the public. And they would also like to use this as a fish stocking area, which is kind of cool, like
Yeah.
50,000 fish put into the creek.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Their issue is without an easement on the books for access, they can't acquire the property. So we already have a maintenance drive that runs adjacent to the property. That's what steelheaders have always used to get in there. And they are aware that that portion of the drive will become part of Singing Sands at some point in the near future. However, they did send me their truck specifications for stopping, and the road can take the heavier vehicle. So I see no issues with this. I think it's kind of a win-win because part of our mission is also providing access to natural resources and recreation. And I'm really happy that it'll be open to the public.
Yeah.
Now there's
That's cool.
so I would recommend, what I'm asking for tonight is the board's approval to move forward. If you approve, the DNR will pay for the survey. They will draft the easement agreement, which will go to our attorney, and then I'll come back to the board. And they're pretty excited about this, so they kind of want to move. They want to have the property accessible in early to mid-spring for their first step.
Thank you, Shannon.
You're
Any questions or comments?
And the easement's ready to go? It's good enough for the public to use? The roadway,
Yeah.
you said? Okay. And the Singing Sands will be alongside that? Is that what you mean?
The
Or
road will actually turn into the trail. It'll be both a maintenance drive and the trail will be shared side by side on the
Oh.
road. So
oh, gotcha. Hmm.
just for that short
Hmm.
run on the trailer.
Yeah.
Those are
Cool.
I don't know, in the paper the other day, I think it was the weekend, Wolf Lake, they have they're, instead of the steelheaders, they are the perch group or something. They put in 25,000 walleye
Well,
over the weekend.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a lot of fish.
Yeah.
but pretty nice.
Unless there are any other questions or comments, I have a motion to proceed with gaining or providing an easement to the Indiana Department of Natural Resources.
I would move that we allow the Department of Natural Resources access to the Krieger Memorial Park on the north side of the service road, as outlined in our drawing.
I'll second it.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, next we have a request for quotes for the zoo electric box exhibit repairs.
Would you?
Okay, included in your packet is quote documents to be sent out to get quotes for repairs to the WPA Arctic Fox exhibit at the zoo. This is being funded by a Kessling Foundation grant that was acquired by the Zoo Society in the amount of $10,000. And it has to be used at the zoo for any type of historic preservation. So the quote document itself has been reviewed by our attorney. It's just our standard template. We'd like to get this approved, but we might hold on to it for a little bit and put it out maybe January or February, because right now we can't do more work because of the temperature. And quoters are not willing to hold quotes past 60 days right now because of the volatile supply and demand problems that we're issuing. But just to move it forward, the board would approve that tonight, and then we'll get it out probably end of January.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments?
What is a lintel?
Lintel is the area above a doorway, window.
Oh,
Can be metal, it can be stone.
I didn't know that. That's my only question.
Fix that lintel. You really do need.
Any other questions or comments?
Got it. Okay.
If not, do we have a motion to approve the request for quotes for the Zoo Arctic Fox exhibit repair?
I so move that we approve the request for quotes for the Zoo Arctic Fox exhibit for repairs.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next up is the addendum to the Gasvoda and Associates contract for the splash park conversion.
Thank you, President Latchford. I was informed by Gasvoda that they were not aware of a certain portion of the insurance requirements, and they said that they had overlooked an amount of $400. I returned their correspondence and let them know that I felt like with their overlooking this amount that they should pay for this and we should be able to move on. And they replied the fact that they bid this job very tightly. They gave us their best price and they didn't have enough in their profit margin to take this $400 amount on. So I'm asking the board if you would please approve an additional $400 to the contract price so they can move forward. They have actually ordered their equipment, the equipment that will be used at the splash pad. Of course, you might want to know what part of the insurance was overlooked. It said that we were requesting completed operations for the additional insured with regards to general liability. And their CFO was not aware of this extra cost when the contract was under review. It was an oversight. And what completed operations are is that extends the coverage beyond the contract or project's conclusion should a loss occur after the subcontractor or contractor has finished the work and their general liability policy covers the property. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. It's an oversight on their part, and I am convinced by looking at the prices of building splash pads, and I'm sure converting them is very expensive too, and I'm convinced that they gave us their best price, and I would ask you to kindly approve of the additional $400.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Questions or comments?
How close was the next bidder?
Actually, this was a single source bid.
Okay.
They were familiar with the project because they installed the equipment in the first place.
Mhm.
What are we budgeted for $400 more? Where's that come from? Where's that?
That might be a Shannon question. Where that would come from.
Sorry.
Shannon, question or problem?
Oh, both.
Funds availability.
About the $400, where does that come from?
Oh, we've got enough in the budget.
We do? Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? My only comment is even it's unusual. But it's $400 and they're the sole bidder.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna get hung up on it, but that's just my opinion.
I mean, do you feel they're being, I mean, it's only $400 out of 32,000, but
Yes, yeah.
they're a good company. Like you think it's,
They're
honest
happy with
oversight.
them and
Yeah.
They're sincere.
Yeah. I mean, if it was like $3,000, that would be different, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. Yeah.
Well, if we get the splash pad up and
Yeah.
running.
Let's get that thing going.
Back.
Yes.
We don't want to start over again.
Right.
Right.
We need a motion.
Yes, we do.
I would move then, excuse me, that we agree to the addendum to the agreement between us and the contractor for the amount of $400.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Right now we have the full-time golf pro job description.
Yes, just to remind the board, the mayor, pardon me, the mayor, controller, and then city council approved adding a full-time golf pro to our 2023 budget. I was informed, I believe yesterday or the day before, that our budgets now have to be approved by the state by December 31st of the prior year, which is great news. We used to have to wait till February or March. So we are able to hire early to mid-January. We did have several conversations with Indiana's PGA Personnel Director, Todd Smith, about how to attract good candidates and what the process should be. So the first step is for the park board to approve the actual job description. This is in the city's approved template, which is somewhat new in the last few years. So most of our job descriptions are the same across the board. So the first step would be to, for the job description for the new position.
Thank you, Shannon. And what's the major change in this job description from what we had, let's say this summer, to what we're going to next summer?
So in 2016 through this year, we had contracted with an individual to be the golf pro. So they got a salary under their contract, an annual salary. They were also allowed to run the pro shop and keep the proceeds. That was their private business. And they also got $10 per head on everyone who signed up for an outing except for the mayor's outing, which came to about $22,000.
Wow.
The problem with that structure is that contractual employee has no obligation to the city as an employee. They're not allowed to handle cash because of our internal controls. So the management of that needs to go to a seasonal. That's problematic as well because it's a seasonal employee and they just don't take on the responsibility, I think, like a full-timer would, who has benefits and looks at this as, a long-term job. So we're reverting back to what we used to have. And I will say the reason that we went to the contracted pro is we were in like dire financial straits in 2009 due to tax reasons. Golf was declining. It was just a bad time when we lost a lot of full-time employees that year and a couple of years after that, subsequent years. But it's just not working out. I think all of us feel, including our city controller and our city attorney, that we need to reinstate a full-time employee who's accountable to this city for not only the financial side of the golf course, but just the day-to-day management. That we can dictate hours and we can dictate things that we can't do through the contract.
Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, very good explanation. That makes a lot of sense.
And in addition to that, is there a PGA professional designation requirement and the new position?
Yes. So
What-
the new position will require that the person is a PGA member or PGA associate. So PGA member is a little bit of a higher level. Associate is working to get to that point. It can take anywhere from 3 to 7.5 years to get fully vested in the PGA program. So as long as someone, is an associate member and they're continuing their education, that would be a qualification as well.
And our previous contract did not have that
Contractor did not. That's correct.
but the contract itself, job description, didn't require it.
Did not require.
Thank you.
Shannon, on the, one of the skills and knowledge points, the ability to teach golf lessons and schedule events. Does the golf pro have his own charges for giving lessons? And
Yeah.
if so, I know some instances, necessarily not here, where the golf pro spent all the time giving lessons and didn't run the course at all.
So we discussed that with the PGA rep as well. It's typical that golf pros are given time to give lessons, and this will be negotiated, before the person's hired, and we'll come back to you for sure. But it's typical that you do allow them to give lessons, and you can keep a percent for your course, or you can give them 100%, but you dictate the hours to them. So average, I think they told us, was $35 for a half an hour. And you would tell them that, you need to dedicate a minimum of 40 hours a week management to the city
Oh,
side of it.
Thank
And
you.
you're allowed to do lessons up to like a maximum of 15 hours was the example they gave us. So if you want to work 55 hours, you're going to work more than 40 for sure, but you just lay that out in your negotiations. So other things that are negotiated is right now we're paying $10 a head for outings. Do we need that? We're full of annual outings. So it's not like someone's out recruiting. So that's a negotiation point.
Yeah.
Lessons, the retail. Do you give them a percentage of concessions? Some places give a percentage of the cart rental. So there's a lot of ways for a golf pro to get incentive pay for managing correctly.
Mhm.
And those are items that we'll negotiate
Yeah, it's a lot.
once we narrow it down to, 2 or 3 good candidates, then we'll bring that back.
Mhm.
What package are we on?
Thank you, Shannon.
So are there two positions? There's a golf pro manager and a director of golf?
So the director of golf was previously our green superintendent. Not sure
Oh.
why they'll change.
Oh,
That's the maintenance side.
oh, okay. Because it made it sound like there was two
That's what I.
basically directors of golf.
So one
Okay.
maintenance, one.
Okay.
I think we had to make that change when the subject came up about the golf pro not being able to manage people out there because he wasn't a city employee. So I think that's right.
That was awkward
Right.
as well.
At best. Any other questions or comments?
And this position has been obviously occupied by the same person for a while, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Mhm. Mhm.
If there are no other questions or comments, we have a motion to approve the full-time golf pro job description.
I would move that we accept the full-time golf pro job description as printed.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right. On the heels of that, it's the job posting for the full-time golf pro.
So this is a posting that we drafted using an outline from PGA. A couple of things to point out. Applicants must be 21 years of age or older because they are actually managing a concession area that has a liquor license. We put a salary range in there. The salary order for the city is a maximum of $55,000. But depending on what else you negotiate, there's other opportunities to make money. The deadline to submit would be Thursday, December 22nd. And I would expect probably close to a month would be an aggressive schedule to interview, whittle down.
Mhm.
But PGA has offered to take a look at, if we select 3 candidates out of however many. We also have another PGA pro that we spoke to that said he as well would look at those and, point out things that might not catch our attention. I'm not a golfer.
Yeah, that's great.
One prime example was I play in every tournament I can. I'm like, well, that's great. You're a pro, right? And they're like, well, what are they managing your course?
Yeah.
So that was an example. I'm like, I would have never thought that. I would have thought it was good. And
Mhm.
maybe not. So we have a couple avenues of review before it comes before the board.
Thank you, Shannon.
You're welcome.
I think what you have here is a pretty good start. Do you have a ballpark figure? Have they fired any numbers at you about perhaps how many would in the area or would be interested?
The PGA rep's going to post it, in the state of Indiana and Michigan, the rep for both. He said this time of year is the best time to be posting for a pro. He said, do not get discouraged if you only get 3 to 5 applications. He said, 10 years ago, you might have gotten more, but that's typical now.
Mhm.
But they should be quality because they're the PGA organization.
Mhm.
He did say this is a great time because if someone is actually looking to relocate for the course open, it's a more requirement.
Mhm.
He did say Michigan City is like a great area. It's like 2 golf courses. You have the beach, the zoo. Like
Mhm.
a lot of people would want to move here if they have a family. So it's going to attract that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
And most applicants are used to applying for jobs where you have to live in that community.
Mm.
We just have that mindset that you have to be part of our community.
Mhm.
So, yeah, the PGA was like extremely helpful.
Kudos to you for reaching out to the PGA and
Yeah.
also to the local PGA professional for assistance.
My only thing in this job posting is that it says this director of golf, because that just is what made it confusing for me. It makes it sound like there's another, because usually like big time courses or wealthy courses have that. They have a director of golf and a golf pro manager. So I just didn't want someone to think that they were going to be working alongside another, whereas if it says greens, I don't know how you would say that, but that would just,
No, that's a good point.
to me, tell a different story. That might keep someone from applying. They may be like, well, I don't want to work alongside someone or work for someone.
Right.
Because in the first thing that we just approved, it said they have to work well with the director of golf, maintain close relationship with director of golf. So I'm just saying that might turn someone away if they don't
So I
want to
think
work.
maybe we just specify in here that the director of golf maintains the maintenance side of both courses.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Agreed.
I had to ask for help on that too.
And were there other changes that we made to the director of golf to who's going to be supervising the employees? Is that clear now between the 2 job descriptions?
That's a good question. I have to go back and review.
Or would we call it director of golf course maintenance or
I think that'd be more appropriate.
something? Yeah.
Make it clear.
Yeah.
Well, I had to call you.
Right.
I didn't know what it was either.
And I guess they would definitely know that because that's very typical. You have the greenskeeper and the
Yeah.
golf pro. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Okay. Just so it looks attractive. That's all I'm
good. We have to tweak then in the job posting.
I would say this paragraph here,
That was in the,
summary,
yep. It was the the third.
third paragraph.
Mhm. That's where I saw it. And then in this, but I don't think, no, this.
So maybe we can approve the job description with the caveat to give Shannon the
Mhm.
authority to match the job description posting with the
Title.
the title that we're going to probably vote on next
Right here.
meeting for the, to clarify the reporting responsibilities.
Mhm.
Yeah, excuse me, it's a job description and also position description, the 7th point under duties. Shannon, as long as you're changing the one, change the other one also. Instead of director
Yeah.
of golf, the 7th point under duties.
Right.
Yeah, I'll read through both of them.
Okay.
Okay.
So any motion on the job description, if someone would just indicate that giving Shannon the authority to clarify the reporting responsibility.
I thought we voted on the description. Posting.
We're referring to the job posting.
Okay,
On this.
yeah. All right. Well, I would move then that we okay the full-time golf pro manager job position description with the correction of the 3rd paragraph under summary.
we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it. I didn't know if you were finished.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Now, Mr. Freeze brought up a good point. Going back to item E, the full-time golf pro job description, are changes needed in that? The changes that we were just referring to about job titles and reporting to? So we'll have to, yeah, we may,
But consistent.
So
yeah, we may have to,
you're talking about items.
Yeah. maybe if you could make a similar, if we can go back to item E and amend, I think our intent, if we just say, our intent is to go back to E and have an amended
Sure.
motion.
Yeah, I'd like to revert back to item E on the agenda, job description. And the seventh point under duties to change the director of golf to read the same as the golf pro managing job.
No. No, director of golf is the maintenance.
That's what we want to change.
Right, but you said to the same as the golf pro manager title, right? Maybe I heard you wrong.
No, I said the same as we had on the summary.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
You have a second? Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Shannon, all clear with that? With
Yeah.
those two? Thanks.
She'll straighten it out.
Because we're not. So glad you are.
All right, we have some resolutions next, and I'll read the preamble to the first one, and unless there's an objection, but not to the following two, since it's the same. So resolution number 987, whereas the superintendent of the Department of Parks and Recreation has reported that certain transfer funds are necessary within the budget of the Michigan City Department of Parks and Recreation because of unanticipated expenses from various accounts, which accounts do not have sufficient funds available for disbursements for said expenses, and whereas funds are available for said expenses in various other accounts are not expected to be paid from said accounts during the remainder of the budget year, and whereas the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board has determined that said expenses are necessary and that an account transfer should be made in order to meet said expenses now, therefore, be it resolved that the following transfer be made from the following named accounts to the following named accounts, and for the purposes stated therein. Decrease fund 2056-505 maintenance fund seasonal salaries 2,300. Increase fund 2056-505 building materials 2,300. Unless there's an objection or questions, do you have a motion to approve?
I so
Go ahead.
move that we approve resolution number 987.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, resolution number 988 has the same preamble, but decrease fund 2053-000 concession fund seasonal salaries 3,150. Increase fund 2053-000 contractual 3,000 and miscellaneous supplies Peacock 150. Do you have a motion to approve resolution number 988?
I so move that we approve resolution number 988.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, resolution number 989, decreased fund 2062-000 vacation buyback 3,600. Increased fund 2053-000 other supplies miscellaneous 200, electric 3,000, water 400. Do we have a motion to approve resolution number 989?
I so move that we approve resolution number 989.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Any other new business?
Thank you.
All right, on to the superintendent's report, Mr. Shin.
Thank you, President Latchford. This evening, I will be reporting on golf courses, the zoo, and park maintenance. Winterizing the irrigation systems and pump houses are complete as of today. A big yearly task at the golf courses, both courses, North Clubhouse and number 6 bathroom shelter. All those areas have been complete with their winterizing. The pipes on the big course hold 17,000 gallons of water, so you can imagine how much work they've done in the past week winterizing at the golf course. Another annual project completed is the application on 39 greens on both golf courses and their perimeter approaches. The snow mold fungicide covers 6 acres of greens, and that's complete for the year. That is a fungicide that protects the greens from collecting and producing mold. Leaf removal is also a big project to work into between the more time-sensitive activities. Most leaves have been removed. For your information, last Thursday's 70-degree temperature day brought in 91 golfers in a matter of 7 hours. That was a nice day. Mr. Marshall will be looking at closing the South Course for the season sometime next week, depending on the weather. The zoo. The construction of the Big Cat expansion project is moving along well. A completion date of the end of January, possibly the middle of January is a possibility. No promises because weather and material deliveries play a big part, as we know. Some interesting numbers that I received from Director Jamie Huss are total visitors at the zoo in 2022 turned out to be 98,431. And that's 18,000 less than 2021, which we decided that was probably because of the construction, and people and field trips are waiting until that next season when that cat exhibit is complete. But over 10,000 more than the visitor count back in 2013, 14, 15, and 16. The gift shop did very well too. The revenue was far more than the years 2013 to 2019. Park maintenance. Not a lot to be said, but a lot has been done. I could tell you that the park maintenance crew have been working diligently, as you know, annually on the holiday lights, and that will be something for everyone to enjoy. Working very hard on that, and also the removal of leaves in the 17 parks that Mr. Volz manages. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shin. Questions or comments?
I just think it's remarkable that with all the construction of the zoo, that there was only a difference of 10,000. So I think you're very, very correct that next year with the new cat exhibit, I think we're going to see quite an increase, because people are going to be very interested to see what the construction has done. It's going to be very pretty.
You're exactly right. And hats off to Jamie Huss for managing that project and the people while it's going on.
Absolutely.
Any vandalism to report?
I have no vandalism that has been reported to me, Mr. Volz.
Good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Planning Commission, I'm the liaison, and we have not had a meeting since our last meeting. And then November meeting's been canceled. Port Authority, Mr. Freeze.
There was a meeting last week and nothing that pertained to us. There'll be another one coming up Monday.
Thank you. And the Zoological Society, Mr. Lang.
The Zoological Society has decided, because of time constraints, to forego the polar plunge and the chili cook-off until next season. And that's about all that that decision, and nothing else for now.
Thank you. Any attorney's report tonight?
No, sir.
Director's reports? All right, then back to Mr. Lang for the finances.
Michigan City Park Department claims docket for November the 16th, 2022. Municipal, $441,369.94. Golf petty cash, none at this time. Zoo endowment, none at this time. Total claims, $441,369.94. I so move that we approve the claims docket for November the 16th, 2022.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Payroll number 22 with a payroll date of November the 4th, 2022. Total payroll, $73,790.35. I so move that we approve payroll number 22 for 2022.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Under gifts and donations, zoo donation, Art Gone Wild, by Young. I'm not sure if that's a person or an organization, but the zoo donation was $150. Also, Kroger zoo donation, Kroger give back, $93.70. I so move that we accept these gifts and donations.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Under minor transfers, Golf Fund 2062.000, a decrease, $284 vacation buyback, an increase vacation bonus of $284. So move that we approve the minor transfers in Golf Fund 2062.000.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Under Zoo Endowment, none at this time. Under Board of Works, none at this time. Under credit card charges, none at this time. That ends the financial report.
Thank you. Questions from the public or comments? Seeing none. Comments from the board?
I'd just like to thank Shannon for all the work she did on researching that golf. And want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Be
Thanks.
safe and don't eat too much.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Other comments? All right, our next board meeting is Wednesday, December 7th, right here at 5 p.m. Motion to adjourn.
So move.